This is Gomathi T. She had completed her BSc Computer Science and Master of Computer Applications from University of Madras and pursuing PhD in Learning Analytics domain. She is currently working as HOD of Computer Applications at CMR Institute of Technology. She has 12 years of experience and training also along with that. Okay, and she is also leading the L&D department at CMR Institute of Technology. Our professional summary includes trained faculties through short-term training programs in developing chatbots, RPA, blockchain, process mining, and flip class tool. Expertise is understanding and developing course contents, working knowledge of LMS and e-learning technologies, experience in handling mid-sized team around 20 members in training environment, implemented various pedagogical tools in both classroom and online training, trained students and faculties in soft skill, technical skills, and she also received some awards from Exceeding Expectation Award from the year 2018 and 2019, and she also received the Excellence Award for Training and Development in the year 2020 and 2021. I welcome you, ma'am. So now she will give the brief introduction about the blockchain and industry 4.0. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your introduction. Am I audible? My screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am. Your screen is also visible.
Yeah. Is it in the presentation mode, ma'am?
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
It is in the presentation.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, good afternoon, one and all present here. First of all, I thank Wales University for the opportunity given to me. And as part of this FTP, I'm here to deliver a session on blockchain and industry 4.0. I'm Gomathi. I'm working as assistant professor and the head in the Department of Computer Applications, CMRIT, Bengaluru. And I'm also a research scholar of Vista's computer application under the my supervisor is Dr. Prasanna S. And thanks, ma'am, for the belief on me and giving me this opportunity. The agenda for today's training goes with like my journey on blockchain. So how I started picking blockchain, from where it all started, and introduction to industry 4.0, where blockchain came into picture, and about the blockchain, the various levels of blockchain stewardship, about the distributed ledger technology platforms, the effective applications which are available, and the diverse stakeholders who are into blockchain, and more importantly, the blockchain in education. So we from education domain, just I wanted to give an insight like how blockchain is used in education domain and how startups are building in education domain the blockchains. So this is where my journey started. Like I attended an NPTEL course in as blockchain architecture and use case.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is not in the presentation mode, ma'am.
Yeah, that's the problem I was facing.
Yes, for us it is in the presenting mode, ma'am.
But is my PPT visible for you, ma'am? Like
Yes, ma'am.
you're able to read it, like if anything is displayed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, kindly interrupt me since I'm in the full mode, like I'm not able to see the, the audience. If anything, kindly interrupt.
Okay.
Yeah. So my blockchain journey all started here. I have taken an NPTEL course on blockchain architecture and use cases. The course was open in 2018, and I have taken this exam in 2019 and cleared it successfully. So this was offered by IIT Kharagpur, and people from IIT and from industry, from IBM, were part of this training. So this was a 12-week FTP program, and this is where my interest on blockchain was all built. Then being in a Bangalore, being in between the hub of IT, I got an opportunity to work with Women Who Code Bangalore, and they have some open labs and design thinking workshops on blockchain. So all these started in the year 2018. So I was part of some hands-on session on Hyperledger Fabric and some design thinking workshops on blockchain in 2018. So this is where I started learning about the blockchain and had little of hands-on experience. This is my recent publications on blockchain. So in two particular domain. One is decentralized energy to power rural homes. So in electrical domain, so using smart contracts and carbon credit, how decentralized energy can be in the blockchain environment, how we will be able to do it. And also have done one blockchain work in agricultural domain. So these two publications in last couple of years have done in the blockchain area. Now I'm into the session. So this is just to give you an insight like how I picked up blockchain and what is my area of interest or where I stand on blockchain right now. So with respect to industrial revolution, so this is not just only about the 4.0, but also how this industrial revolution has taken place. And even I was attending a couple of sessions on this particular FDP. So there was a very good brainstorming sessions on industrial 4.0. So I'm not going to go in detail about the 4.0 industrial revolution or talking in more detail on that. In specific to blockchain, how it is going to be is what my session is all about. So as we know that the first industrial revolution was based on the steam-based engines, and then the electrical energy-based computer, and now of the century, we are already inside the information revolution, and we are in the fourth industrial revolution of information revolution. So we are into the artificial intelligence word, information word, and
Gomathi
yes,
ma'am, excuse me. No,
yes, ma'am.
your screen is not visible. Now it is. Yes.
My screen was not visible.
Yes. Okay, it is in the first slide.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
next. Now it is an industrial revolution,
yeah,
right?
okay, ma'am, fine.
Yeah, okay.
So now coming to industrial revolution 4. So this is where our intelligence, information and blockchain all together has spawned. So the various key themes, the key themes of industry 4.0 we can say as interconnection, information transparency, technical assistance and decentralized decisions. So based on all of these themes is what we make industry 4.0. So with respect to interconnection, the ability of machines, devices, sensors, and people to connect to communicate with each other. We call it as IoT or IOP, the Internet of Things or Internet of People. And then comes the information transparency. The transparency afforded by Industry 4.0 technology provides operators with comprehensive information to make decision. And then comes the technical assistance, so the robots or the chatbots.
Sorry
Sorry,
to interrupt Gomathi ma'am. Ma'am, can
my
you
slide is not moving.
yes, yeah, it's not slide. It is still in the presentation. That is with the PPT. It is not
Mm,
available as slideshow. You change to slideshow in the presentation.
how about now, ma'am?
In your PPT itself, you just go to slideshow mode.
Yes, I'm doing the same. I'm going
But
to
it
the
is
slide.
still in the presentation. The text is not visible to us.
How about now, ma'am? Key themes
Now,
you're able to see?
the text is not visible. Of course, you can view your slide, but the text is not visible.
Okay, let me try. Let me
Better
share
you can
again.
change the settings. Otherwise, you can change it soon.
Yeah, let me share it again,
Yeah,
ma'am.
okay. Now you click on slideshow, ma'am, in your file.
Yeah, fine.
Is it visible now, ma'am? I'm in slideshow mode only in my system.
Okay, but it is still showing as a file. It's just slides. It is not in the slideshow. The thing is, the text is not visible to us. That's the problem.
How about now?
Ma'am, have you done share the entire screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Or a window means then it will not be visible, ma'am.
I have shared my entire screen. Let me do it again. Kind
Now it's not visible, ma'am. Ma'am, you just go to presentation screen. Presenting. Present now, ma'am. Click on present now in your desktop. Gomathi, ma'am, am
yeah,
I
yeah.
audible?
I'm doing it, ma'am. But for me, it is there in full mode.
Now you are presenting.
For me, I have done this third link right here. In this is only active for me. Okay, let me try to increase the size of
Size
my.
better. It is okay.
Yeah,
You can increase the size. Ah, now it's visible. Okay.
is this
The
fine, ma'am?
text is visible. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
make
okay.
it few. If it's required, let me increase more.
Yeah, okay. It's okay, ma'am. You can
Yeah, thank you.
continue with this. Thank you.
Yes. So the key themes are the interconnection, information transparency, technical assistance, and the decentralized decision. So these are the key themes of Industry 4.0. So this is where we stand here in the age of robotization. So be it a software or hardware robot it is. So this we wanted to add global value chains. So this is where we are in this century. So we started with mechanization, mass production, automation, and now into robotization. So let me now move to blockchain. So what is a blockchain? So everyone seems divided on some basic taxonomy about the blockchain. Is that a blockchain refers to a Bitcoin blockchain or the technology in general? Is it a currency or it is a security measure or is simply a software? Is it all of these things or none of these? Or whether the government and regulators the worldwide over are likewise uncoordinated along with these technologies. So we can say some of these are lazy fairs that they don't want to implement something new or challenging, or some are deep dive and they are already into setting up the rules and regulations. One such example is bit license in New York. So they have kept they are on the toes for the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency. And China has banned cryptocurrency exchanges outright. But even now, cryptocurrency mining is very active in China, and also the blockchain innovation is also frankly exploited in China. So when we talk about a blockchain, there are so many things, which is it only the cryptocurrency or only about the cryptocurrency? It is widely spoken. But in general, a blockchain is nothing but a block of chains, which is a growing list of records. We call this as a blocks that are linked using a cryptography. So each block contains a cryptographic hash of the previous block, a timestamp, and a transactional data. For just a couple of minutes, I'm stopping my presentation and let me share a link where how this cryptography hash is being generated in blockchain. Is my SHA-256 hash screen is visible for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a blockchain demo page here. So this will give me the hash, the block, the blockchain distributed, how it works. Say, for example, how if a data is entered in a blockchain, how it is getting hashed, or how this hash function, or how this particular algorithm works. Say, for example, I'm typing something. As and when I'm typing the number of characters or number of things, we can say that the hash function is getting changed. So it is periodically, it is getting changed, and this is not going to be the standard. As and when you keep adding the data, your hash function is getting changed here. So this will give us an insight, or this will tell us the data which we are putting inside this blockchain is cryptographically hashed. So it is not possible for anyone to break this data or understand the complete data, since it is going to be encrypted clearly. And as we say, a blockchain is originally a block and a chain. a block consists of a cryptographic in this screen. Addition to that, we will also have a timestamp in which time this particular data has been included in the block, and also some of the transactional values which are available if it is, for example, a banking domain. Especially a transaction data is very important. So when we talk about a blockchain, a cryptography is the base of it. Hash function is very important. The timestamp and the actual data is also important. I will be sharing this link with you all. You can go and see how, any data, if you put how it is being converted into a blockchain. So that we will be able to see with this particular website link. I'll try to put it in the chat bot, this particular link. So whenever you would like to explore this, you can do. So I have posted in my in chat window the link to this particular website. So you'll be able to practically see like how data is converted into an hash function, what is a block, how a blockchain is created. All that we will be able to see in this particular website through the different links we have here. So the second menu which I could see in this particular page is every block will have a number associated with this, a nonce, a data, as well as an hash to be done. So as and when I keep typing it, our data is going to, our hash data is going to keep changing. And then we will also have blockchain. So in blockchain, we will be seeing like we will be able to see for every block there will be a number which is given, and based on the data which we had, our previous hash, say for example here I have an data which is typed. I could see the hash function of that in my first block, and the same hash function is also reflected in my second block as a previous. And as and when I type over data, or whatever hash is getting generated in my second block will be reflected in my third block. So this is how a block of chains are usually created in a blockchain environment. So let me stop this particular tab and continue with my PowerPoint. Yeah, feel free to stop me in between if you have any queries also. As much as interactive session, it would be really interesting. So this is what I just wanted you all to know about how a blockchain works, and how pictorially things are getting cryptographically hashed, and how timestamp will be noted, and how that transactional data will be combined to an hash function and carry on. So now in the fourth industry revolution, the blockchain. So these are some of the terms or which is very popular, the most liked, the most spoken about the blockchain is, this is one form of the technology that will have greater impact on the world economy than self-driving cars, solar energy, or even artificial intelligence. So which technology is that? Is it blockchain? So blockchain is a simple protocol that bypasses intermediaries and allows for anonymous and secure transactions that are permanently recorded on a public ledger. And blockchain holds the power to reshape, transform the world of business and the old order of human affairs. So how we were doing our business, the way we do our business, the way our business is going to be tracked is all going to change because of this blockchain technology. So levels of blockchain stewardship. So when we call something as a blockchain, there are very important things which we have to understand about this. The first one is the platform itself. There are n number of platforms which are available on for building blockchains, especially the distributed ledger technology. So it is hand in hand, the distributed ledger technology and the blockchain. So at platform level, at where we can build different types of application, or the software which is available as an open source, or available as an private blockchain or a public blockchain. So we are going to see 5 of these platforms which are very popular, and I tried to pick these 5 different platforms which can target different types of businesses. So that was the main motive for the platform levels. The second one is, again, we have many types of applications. Many startups are already into the work of creating applications in blockchain. And the third one, the ecosystem. So the ecosystem, the stakeholders, who are all the part of this particular, who is the ecosystem for this particular blockchain. So this is what the more of the technical perspective of blockchain we are going to see for the rest of the session. So the DLT platforms, I'm in specific mentioning some of these platforms as a DLT platform because they themselves says that we are little different from blockchain. This is a distributed ledger technology, but we differ from blockchain in this particular feature. So because of that, I'm not naming all of these as blockchain platform. In specific, I'm mentioning this as a distributed ledger technology platform. So these are the 5 different platforms which we are going to see in today's sessions: the IBM blockchain, Tron, Stellar, Corda, and Ethereum. So coming to blockchain, IBM. So IBM is a master. Like IBM's product or IBM platforms are popularly used. And as I was telling in the starting of the session, where I had an opportunity to attend this NPTEL. So the trainer was from IBM. So it was on Hyperledger Fabric. Hyperledger Composer. These are the popular platforms which are available in IBM in order to build this blockchain. So IBM is the pioneer in this particular blockchain domain for creating efficient and transparent business operation. So why this particular blockchain? Why IBM blockchain? It provides a 30 days free trial for the users to understand, and it is connected to the IBM Cloud Kubernetes clusters, and it is an open source and a community-based platform is also available with limited features, and more importantly, it offers a permission network, and the languages which are supported are Go and Java programming languages are there. So in blockchain network, we have to understand 2 things: permission and permissionless network. So when, as the name says, when someone wanted to be a part of this particular network, they have to be allowed to be part of this particular network. Then this is called as a permission network. That is, an individual who wanted to be a part of this blockchain network should be permitted by someone to be a part of it. Not every individual will be able to be a part of a blockchain when we declare something as a permission network. Wherein in the permissionless network, it is open to the society, it is open to the community. So anyone can pitch in, anyone can be a part of this particular network to understand the different transactions which are happening and what is going on in the network, what are the business transactions which are happening in the network. So there are the highly competitive, like some competitions are also there now happening in the blockchain. So those are a very good example of permissionless network. Anyone can join, anyone can take up the query, anyone can give a solution, and whoever gives the solution best, so they will be awarded. So the blockchain platform is used even for that. For an permission network, I have enough examples to show you, and permission and the permissionless network. As of now, an IBM blockchain is a very popular platform. It is an permission network, and we also have it as an open source community edition of this. Then comes Tron. So mostly, so what kind of a business operations it can, this IBM blockchain platforms are not specific only for banking transaction. This can also support any type of an application which we can develop using blockchain, which we feel that a third party is not required. If you feel for your application, a third party intervention is not required, then that kind of an application can be developed here. But I have picked few specific platforms because these are for different purpose. So usually the blockchain became popular because of the cryptocurrency, because of the Bitcoin. So the logic behind the Bitcoin and the popularity of the Bitcoin has only grown the popularity of the blockchain. But beyond Bitcoin, there are so many things which the blockchain technology can do. So blockchain, we have to see it as a technology which can help us to create any decentralized applications or any application which don't need a third party intervention. So that type of an application to develop, we can go for a distributed ledger technologies. So coming to Tron. So Tron is a blockchain-based decentralized protocol that aims to construct a worldwide free content entertainment system with the blockchain and distributed storage technology. So why do we need this particular technology? Why do we need this particular platform? Is that this particular Tron platform is more popular for the content creator to own the ownership. So we have seen this in the music industry. So since social media is very popular now, number of YouTube channels which are coming in, they take the contents from various sources and they add, they grow their own business with the help of the viewership. So adding someone's music, adding someone's contents, or adding someone's images, with all doing some others people's effort and work, others are also using this social media in order to increase their viewership. So that is also a kind of a business. So this kind of a decentralized protocol, this kind of a platform will help us to help the content creators, the artists, to own the ownership of their contents. So for this purpose, this popularly used platform is the Tron platform. Then comes the Stellar. So again, cryptocurrency is a very, very popular and unavoidable distributed ledger technology. So here, than like any other, say similar to that of a Bitcoin also, like transfer of amount from one account to other account can be done at ease. So here we are just specific towards the transfer of amount from account A to account B in a different country. So you're trying to transfer the amount which is there in dollars to euro. So this may take a week or maybe lesser than a week in a normal banking transactions, wherein a platform like Stellar will allow us to transfer the amount from bank A to bank B through this Stellar network. So this platform, as a decentralized and open database, it hardly takes 2 to 3 seconds for the confirmation of the transaction. And Stellar also allows multi-signatures and it has smart contracts. So smart contracts are very important part of the distributed ledger technology. So this is like a logic of the steps of business written programmatically, and as per the steps of execution, your process takes place. So it has a fixed 1% of annual inflation also. So in this particular example, so from bank A, Janet want to transfer an amount to Kate to bank B. So through this Stellar network, this dollar amount is converted into XLM and then it is converted to euros. So what is this is, it's a currency which is used in the Stellar platform. So in the Stellar network, they use a currency called as an XLM. So this particular currency, like whatever amount is getting transferred, it is converted into the, say for example, even this Bitcoin, like we will have the type, we will have Ether. In Ethereum, we have this called as an Ether. So similarly in Stellar network, the currency which is used in the Stellar network is called as an XLM. So through this, it is getting converted and moved to the next user, I mean the next customer. So then comes Corda. So Corda is an example of so this is not a permissionless network, it is a permission network. That means like whoever has been permitted to be part of this, only they can access the data which is there in this platform. Others will not be able to access the data. So the smart contracts play a vital role in blockchain. That is, the contract would be transparent and accessible by everyone in the block. Say, let's take in a blockchain environment, if everyone is a user, every one of us will have a block, and this block will have exactly the same information what the others have. So if any small changes is done to your block, again it is getting reflected, and in multiple places you will be having this reflection. So that is how a smart contract that is how your a blockchain environment works. So what happens here is that the data is getting repeated, and then this like the repeated data, a small modification also, again a block is getting generated, and the same copy of data is available in the multiple places, which is worry about the storage part of that. So that is why we go for a permission based network. So the main difference between the blockchain and the Corda platform is that the smart contract can be permission based. So only two or more parties involved in the transaction would have access to the smart contracts. Also, with the consensus of the parties involved, a regulatory or a legal body can be given access and brought into the network as an observer to verify the contract. Say, for example, I'm going to do a land registration. So this registration is going to happen between two parties, the buyer and the seller. Now, this buyer and the seller the buyer wanted to pay some amount and take the land from the seller. And meanwhile, they also will be checking whether the documents, the paperwork is proper, whether it is an authorized, whether that person is an authorized person to sell this land or not. This much information is required. Now, if it is a permission network, who are the legal bodies and the regulatory bodies who are in charge for this? Say, for example, registration office. An officer in the registration office would also be a part of this, because they have to verify that this land is available in this particular place and this person is an authorized person to sell the land. And other regulatories, like what are the other regulatories? When we do a transactions like a cash transaction, the minimum amount only should be there. The PAN card or the Aadhaar card of the person who is buying and the selling also should be available. So these are different bodies which are associated in a simple transactions. So in the Corda network, the people who are buyer and seller will have an execution to the smart contracts. In addition to that, the regulatory bodies will also be extracting the smart contract contents to understand that it is a legal transfer. It is a legally, all documents are proper and it is getting transferred. Apart from that, if anyone also have to be a part of this particular blockchain, then an observer body can also be part. Say, for our example, we can say the one who is witnessing. So the witness, the one who is a witness for doing, who was the transfer. So we will have witness in both the side, from the seller side as well as the buyer side. So they can also be a part of this if required. And if, especially if it is an ancestral property, then the lawyer also will come into the picture. So they can also be a part of this legal body. So only the people who are involved in this will have the access to the smart contracts. This smart contracts will have a set of instructions or the set followed one by one in order to complete the transaction. So in our case, the transaction is the seller wants to buy it from a buyer. So to do that, what are and all terms which has to be checked, what and all documents which is required, and an authorization have to be checked. If all these steps are done, then the data node, that means the blocks are updated with this particular timestamp on this particular date. The land has been registered from person A to person B. So like this kind of instructions will be written in the smart contracts. Any network which is a permission network will have people who belongs to this particular transaction, and others who doesn't belong to this particular transaction can be included based on the request. So only limited people will be having the access to it. Then comes a next last type of an Ethereum platform. So in Ethereum platform, again, it is a very popular platform. So the currencies which is used here is called as an Ether. So this is an next to IBM, the most popular type of an blockchain platform is an Ethereum platform. So the example which I have given here is how this blockchain platform can be used to create contracts that offers a reward in exchange. So now let a startup is going to have a business. The startup is not having the enough resources or the enough knowledge to understand something. So it gives as a contest to the public, and if a appropriate solution is coming, then the person who has given a best solution is going to get the reward. So that also can be structured inside the blockchain environment. So here the buyer, so we can say that instead of a buyer, let's take the person who wanted to find out a solution for a problem is is creating a contract. So the contract is published to the Ethereum blockchain. Now, say for example, this is, we wanted to find out how many fraudster will be there and which machine learning algorithm can give us a, which using which machine learning algorithm we can build a better model. So then, so the first one, the buyer creates a new contract. Contract is buyer create a new contract means the buyer is trying to write down the problem as a logic. This is my problem, and step by step as a contract, say similar to that of a smart contracts. I'm writing it. These are my step by step procedure. And then this smart contract is published in the Ethereum blockchain. Once it is published, anyone, this is an permissionless network, anyone who wanted to solve this particular problem, that is an ML engineer, downloads the data and trains an AI or ML model. So from this particular platform, you download the, as an ML engineer, you download the data and you start training your model. Then the model is submitted and run on the Ethereum blockchain using the data set from the contract. So the data set will also be given by the buyer only, and based on the data set, an ML model will be built, and this ML model again will be uploaded back to the Ethereum blockchain environment. Now, we have two things. One is the data, and the contract is given by the person who has published the contest. As a participant, I have found a solution. I have created my model for that data set. I am uploading now. So when my model is getting uploaded, it is checked against all the points which has been mentioned in the smart contracts. So whatever contract is having, that is getting checked against the model. If the model fulfills the criteria which is there mentioned in the contract, the payment is sent to that ML engineer. So how this payment will be sent is that if all the if all the contracts, all the points in the contracts are successfully met, and if this is the first person who has come up with this solution, because it is a time stamped, so whether this person has only come up first, so the person who has come up first with the solution which is satisfying all the points which is there in the smart contracts, automatically the amount will be transacted from the person who has put the question problem, and the person who has given a solution, that person will be getting the amount. Again, this is also a type of a business. So we have seen in big data analytics, right? We have seen even we use the commodity hardwares in order to execute our data, in order to perform the data processing. But when we want GPL, when we don't have, as a startup, you don't have access to an high-end machines, then they openly give this as a volunteer computing. So they openly give it as a contest, and whoever want to volunteer, they can share their system time and do it. That is one type of way. And this way is that you're not going to share any resource except your data set and the rules. Someone is going to use the system which they have, or the computing facility which they have, and they are going to give you a solution for you. So instead of you employing someone and doing the work, making them work, you open it as a contest, pay them, and take the solution and use it in the business. So this kind of an application can also be used in Ethereum. Now, let me move to the next part of my session, which is a blockchain application transforming the society. So it is not only about the cryptocurrencies. So we have this blockchain applications everywhere now. Say a couple of years before itself, I have seen Coorg coffees. Like we have this GIs, right? So based on GIs, based on the locality, Mysore sandal, or Tirunelveli alva, or Tirupati is whatever region we have GIs in our country. So similarly, like how these products, say I'm telling that I'm tasting the most tasteful coffee from Starbucks. So now how will you know that this is the most specially um, agriculture product, agriculture coffee seed? So they have this, even in that level, they have this blockchain technology, they have this QR code. If you scan that QR code, you will be able to understand what time the seed was first come out, and who were involved in this, in which particular factory it came out, from which particular place it came out. So all these informations are also available by just scanning this. So this is possible using the blockchain technology. So timestamp in even in supply chain management, it is very broadly used. The one example which I gave you for Starbucks coffee quality, that also is an example of more or less a supply chain and logistics together. So apart from these things, some very interesting applications which are very popular in blockchain, even which we have not thought about, okay, this kind of an applications can be a part of blockchain or not, like we would have not thought about, but really a very interesting blockchain applications are in across the globe by many of these startups. So asset management, insurance claims, payments across the borders, blockchain internet of things, supply chain, healthcare, music, government, personal identifications. These are some of the blockchain applications which are transforming the society now. So some of the blockchain applications, like when I go to finance, so finance is, if I take the finance domain, it can be both for the cryptocurrencies for transfer of amount, and also prediction marketplace. So when I come to an health, it is EHR. When I move to an education, it is in certification management and reputation. So I have more applications today to discuss on educational domain, because we are all from the same family of an educational domain. Apart from the certification management and the reputation, we have much more applications which is there in the blockchain. And then with respect to governance, identity management, proof of existence, notary, public administration, e-voting. And when we talk about the business and industry, we have supply chain, we have energy sector, and we talk about the privacy of our data, secured storage, and anonymization. And data are very easily available. We don't know who's somewhere stealing our data also. So who can access our data, who should not access our data, that permission have to be given by the user. So that also can be taken care by the blockchain application. So these are some of the blockchain applications which are available. So in specific, we are going to discuss in today's session about the 5 effective applications of blockchain technology, which is very specific to the industry 4.0. So money transfer and payment processing, I already gave you an example of a Stellar. So this is the best example of a money transfer and the payment processing. It's not only Stellar, any of the distributed ledger technology or the blockchain have the capability of transferring the money from one account to other, but each has its own features. So that is how the blockchain or the distributed ledger technology is going to have a difference. So potentially the most ideal and rational application of blockchain technology is using it as a means to accelerate the transfer of funds from one party to another. If you're transferring within the same currency, even WhatsApp and WhatsApp money and Google Pay or a Paytm is well to do, and during this pandemic we have also done extensively the use of this. But when you're transferring from one currency to other currency is where the actual challenge. And whenever we are talking about the transfer of fund, we are not talking about the transfer of fund from one account to other account which is there within an same currency level. We are talking about a much higher level, global level. We are talking about the money transfer. So most transaction carried out via blockchain can be settled within a matter of seconds, while bank, even now if you transfer amount from one account to other account, it takes time. It is not in the seconds, it takes more time. That provided the Google Pay or a Paytm is much faster, but when you're transferring from one bank account to your another bank account in internet, it's not going to just take few seconds. It definitely takes much longer time. Wherein using blockchain, the money transfer and Paytm, the payment can be processed very easily. Then comes the supply chain. So the supply chain is a broad area, we know, right? It's not specific only for a particular industry. So wherever wherever the supply chain can be used for any part of an industrial jobs, like any part of an industrial business. Say this blockchain technology is easy to apply when it is coming to monitoring the supply chains, because I have done, it is not delivered at their end. So it is in the vendor's place, or it is in an intermediate place. So this kind of an information will not be shared when blockchain is coming into picture, because the blockchain is going to have a timestamp. It's going to exactly tell us who has delayed the process. Now, by eradicating paper-based trials, enterprises are able to spot inefficiency within their supply chains rapidly. So blockchain also enable enterprises and even consumers to perceive how products perform from a quality control point of view as they move from their place of origin to the retailer. So this is one of the very main part of the blockchain. Say when we are coming about the quality, let's take the quality of a particular fruit. So mango, let's see that we have ordered for a box of mangoes, and this box of mangoes is coming from a particular region. And when it is reaching us, we believe that all the mangoes are from that particular place only. But there is a chance that few of these fruits might be removed from the box, and then other pieces are being placed and we get. Say I'm just giving you an day-to-day example. Like let's take an organic fruit. So we will think it is an organic fruit. Out of 10, 7 might be organic and 3 might be non-organic. The cost of it, if they keep, it might work out. But here when you're coming to a fruit, so you will have a barcode. Anyway, you will also have a barcode. This barcode will also tell you like when exactly this was manufactured. So, but still, if the barcode is removed and it is sticked in the fruit, again we cannot talk more on defending on anything can be done. But still, as of now, what we are trying to understand is that you have a code which is assigned to everything, and when you scan the code, exactly how this mangoes have come from which farm it has come from, who belong to this, what was the cost which has been fixed by them. All these information can also be monitored, can also be checked, can also be viewed as a consumer of that particular product. So this can be applied to any type of a product which we are buying. And even the laptops or any of these electronic devices which we are buying online, uh, we are facing this issue that the spare parts of it is getting damaged very soon. So was it unpacked, packed, or was it used by someone for a time and then it has been given? All these things are also there. But still, this blockchain kind of a technology can help you to track it to some level, like what is the foundation. So who was responsible for this particular assembling. So when they did till now, was there a variation? At least to find out that, it is going to be helpful. Then comes a very interesting blockchain application, which is a retail program based on loyalty rewards. So loyalty rewards is, we go to a big bazaar, or we go to an chain of chain of place where we consume things, where we buy our things. Everyone is given a loyalty rewards. So in a business point of view, they feel that these loyalty rewards are also getting cheated. But as a consumer point of view, we also will say that it is just an eye wash to understand the trend of the buyer. So it is just used for their market basket analysis. As a buyer point of view, we will think. But as in a business point of view, how these retail program based on royalty awards are rewards are done. So this is also, there are some applications which are also available on blockchain. So this blockchain helps in transfiguring the retail experience by becoming the go-to for loyalty rewards. Say now I am buying a kurti in a particular shop. If what kind of a cotton it is coming from, who is behind this manufacturing, so how it is being carefully designed. If this kind of an information, some people, the trend is changing now, some people are even interested in knowing about that, so that can come under the supply chains, that can come under the logistic part, how it is being carried out from one place to other. But when coming to this particular rewards, by designing a token based system that rewards consumer and storing these tokens within a blockchain will encourage consumers to return to a certain store or chain to do their shopping. This is how any loyalty reward in any retail business happens. So it would also terminate the fraud and the ways that are commonly associated with paper and card based loyalty rewards programs. Again, it is having a timestamp, so that is why they say a loyalty loyalty rewards program. So apart from using the paperwork and the card based work, now most popularly it is used in the card based, but we can also use blockchain, as blockchain can be used in as a loyalty rewards. After completing all these different types of applications, let's have a discussion like, is it a blockchain required for this kind of an application? Do we need blockchain? When we need blockchain, when we should not, when we don't need blockchain? Understanding that is very, very vital for us to apply blockchain in any type of a business. So I have covered all these different types of applications to have an discussion session on that, whether this particular technology is used for this type, is required for this type of an application or not. So that is what we will have to discuss all about. So the next type of application which we would be discussing is the blockchain provides the ability to vote digitally. So no one can cheat, or no one will be able to now find out a multiple voter, the same voter has voted multiple times, or that someone else has voted on behalf of you. So the digital voting can be a good application with respect to the blockchain. So it integrates the ease of digital voting with the immutability, that is unchanging nature for that. You cannot take a back if you have included your blockchain. So to make the vote really count. So digital voting is one of the popular applications which we have in the blockchain. So this is an overall different types of blockchain applications which we have much more than this. It is not only these, we have much more applications compared to these kind of an application. So a quick discussion we can have now about so out of these technology, out of these applications which I have discussed, say 5 applications I have discussed with you all, and some of the applications is there in this particular image also as a blockchain applications. Can anyone post or unmute yourself and tell me which application out of this blockchain is really required and blockchain is not required? So out of the applications which are mentioned here, as per you, which applications really need blockchain or distributed ledger technology, or these applications simply used blockchain, but there are various other technologies which can be used. Blockchain is not mandatory, or it is the only one. So can anyone give me the answer for this? Applications which really need blockchain.
Cryptocurrency we will written.
Yes, ma'am.
Cryptocurrency, but
Yes.
in education we don't want blockchain, it seems. Is it so?
Okay. So one place is that where you need cryptocurrency. So in cryptocurrency, I mean the transfer of funds. So when we need a transfer of funds, then we can think of a blockchain technology. So as rightly mentioned, like when you wanted to transfer from one particular location to other particular location across the globe, it's not with the same type of a currency. If blockchain kind of an environment is not available, what happens is that lot of intermediaries are required. So whenever lot of intermediaries are required, to eliminate them completely or partially, you can make use of blockchain technology. So now when compared to reward program, when you take an example, intermediaries are not there more. So there is a retail company and there is an customer. So the customer is buying in the retail place, and because of that they are giving you some rewards. So there a third party intervention is not required at all. So actually speaking, when you will use blockchain technology is that whichever application doesn't need an intermediary, like it actually needs an intermediary, but you are removing it or you are partially ignoring them, then you can go for a blockchain technology. So let's come to the education part now. So in education domain, there are some where blockchain can be implemented efficiently. So my next few part of the session is completely on the applications which are there in the education domain. So once I complete that session, again we will come back to this discussion and find out which part of this application needs blockchain, which part of this application doesn't need blockchain. So let me now continue with the next part. So we have done with 5 popular platforms of distributed ledger technology, and we have also seen various applications which are popular in our blockchain platform. So then comes the third part, the diverse stakeholders. So who are called as a stakeholders is that one who is going to bring up this technology, the one who is going to use this technology. So these people are usually called as a stakeholders. So for stakeholders in an education, parents, students, teachers, the official people who are working towards that, the people who are having setting the rules and the regulations, all these people becomes the diverse stakeholders. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So the industry pioneers, the venture capitalists, the banks and the financial services, the leadership and the users. So these are the different stakeholders of the blockchain technology. So we are going to quickly see about these stakeholders. So the first one is the industry pioneer. So who is an industry pioneer? Who is already into this business? The startups, the organizations, like who are into the blockchain business, who are into implementing the blockchain technology into their day-to-day activities in their business, and popularly in the cryptocurrencies. So here, some blockchain industry pioneers believe that regulation is not just foolish, it's hostile to Bitcoin principles. So people feel like the gamblers or the people who wanted to perform fraudster activity are the one who are, it is going as a gambling game. But some industry pioneer, like some industry experts feels that blockchain is not just only about the hiccups, the myths which is behind that, but it is also much more than that. It is more than even mathematics. So it is well regulated by mathematics. It is a proven way, but how people perceive it and take it, we may have real-time examples of how it has been cheated or how it has been misused, but still it is a very good technology. It is a very good way in to perform the transactions. Now, Eric Woods. So he is a co-founder of a company called as an Coina Pult. So what he says is Bitcoin is already very well regulated by mathematics. So you are going to mine it. You are mathematically, it is a proven one, and it is not just subject to the whims of the government. It is not controlled by the government. Say how internet is not controlled by a single government. It is an understanding between the governing bodies with the restriction, but no one in the world can claim internet belong to one particular nation. So similar way, there will be a day where it will come like the Bitcoins also, or the blockchain technology themselves will turn into an it is moving towards turning into be an independent icon or an independent soul of principles rather than depending upon the governance. So as the ecosystem grew and companies became stakeholders, more entrepreneurs opened to the idea of talking with the governments in order to incorporate the changes. So now there might be things which are being globally recognized, but still every nation also have to recognize that. So more and more startups when you have, and when they are into the business, automatically government will start hearing for the same. So the next type is a venture capitalist. So most of the startups are dependable on the funds which they receive from their venture capitalists. So people are ready to do funding for any good idea. So when the venture capitalists start investing in this type of and disrupted technology, then the popularity of the technology, the use of the technology again going to become popular. So mathematics is not just the only sole regulator of the blockchain. Before long, the success of an insider caught the attention of Silicon Valley's brightest venture capitalist. So the Silicon Valley venture capitalists were the first one to jump into the market of investing in the blockchain applications. So these includes the venerable Andreessen Horowitz and many others. So new financial services titans have joined the mix. So Goldman Sachs, the New York Stock Exchange, Fidelity, Visa, Barclays, everyone are into this cryptocurrencies now. So the United Bank of Switzerland, CBIC, TMX Group, dozens of others have also invested in that startups. They launched projects internally, and also they have joined some consortiums. So pension funds. So for any country, pension funds seems to be a very, very important people start investing for their future, for their retirement planning. So even that such a kind of an ventures who are into the pension funds have started keeping an eye on the blockchain technology. So the venture capitalist, to name few, Tim Draper, if anything financiers are underestimating, then definitely they are underestimating the potential of the blockchain. So Barry Silbert's a venture firm, the Digital Currency Group, appointed academics and other non-traditional advisors to its board. So we know that in the Western countries, the academics drives the industry. So these people have already invited the researchers in order to work on this and to make the blockchain potential more reachable. So they wish to speed up the development of better financial system, and they aim to accomplish this through both investment as well as the advocacy. So the most important part where the stakeholders are the banks and the financial services, because blockchain is not only about the cryptocurrency, but all the popularity came when a finance is into it. So finance is a base for any type of a business. So that is how for this particular technology also. In no industry, we have seen more dramatic reversals of opinion of the blockchain and the bitcoins or any other cryptocurrency than in the banking. For the longest time, many financial institutions just dismissed Bitcoin outrightly. They considered it as a currency of gamblers and criminals. Blockchain wasn't even a blip on their radars. But now things are changing. Many of the world's biggest banks joined the R3 consortium. So others have even partnered with the Linux Foundation, the open ledger projects of the various organizations, which has now become hyperledger banks. So the contribution towards it technically, the contribution towards it as a venture capitalist, or they watch how the other financial services are using blockchain and trying to incorporate. So we see that many projects in JPMC is also looking for like blockchain developers for their application development. The most important to say it's a stakeholder is a leadership. So who is going to drive it? So gender balance is very popular term which we are at least we are listening to this for past 5 years, and as many have pointed out that blockchain movement is frankly outpopulated within men. So any of the venture capitalists, any of the popular people who are building the blockchain or coming up, the founder of the various platforms are dominated mainly by men. But I try to pick up few high profile women who are also founding and managing these companies in the blockchain space. So the co-founder of Grow Clover, the founder of CoinShares, the advisor and the consultant of finance, so on numerous blockchain platforms. So I have named a few, I have picked a few very popular female leadership which is there in the blockchain arena. So the CEO of the Digital Asset Holdings, so Bly the Masters, the formerly CEO of the Digital Asset Holding, they are also into the business of blockchain. Now Elizabeth Rossi, and CEO and the founder of BitPesa. So there are so many startup organization which is keep on coming, and who is going to lead it? The leader can do a dramatic change. So with respect to how they are taking up things, how they are able to market, how they are able to reach, convince the customer. So based on that, automatically a business and a technology is going to take a shape, the vital role in improvement of any technology. Then comes you and me, the user. So the user is whom, like you or me, who are working, who are looking forward for working with the blockchain. So while we wanted to use a blockchain as a technology for any of these transactions which we perform, first thing which we will care about is the security, the privacy, and the identity of us. So are we, if we use this platform, is my data going to be secured? Is my identity going to be secured? So we will not only worry about our own, we will also worry about the others who are part of this. So we care about the human rights, a long-term viability of this technology. We want fair hearings and fair judgments. We want a forum for righting wrongs and for fighting criminals. So as a user, these are our expectation when we use any other technology. So namely, we have mentioned here 5 different types of diverse stakeholders who can take the blockchain to the next level. No doubt the industry pioneers who are into the market of development of blockchain technology, the venture capitalist whichever business, whichever type of an technology which is coming in, unless you have someone going to have a demand of it, someone is going to invest on your projects, it's not going to achieve a greater heights. And then since a transaction is involved, like a consensus, the consensus between the various government bodies, the consensus between various countries are also have to be into the picture. So that there comes your banks and the financial services. In India, we rely on RBI. And for the leadership, so any leadership, like the leaders can make change. So how blockchain can be carried away, or how blockchain can be taken to the next level, is by the how the leaders are going to pursue it, how the leaders are going to convince the customers. That is how it is going to take up our, and more importantly, our users. So these are the 3 important components which I feel like everyone should know. Like who is going to be, what are the different platforms, the various platforms in which we can build applications. So that's how platforms of blockchain or a distributed ledger technology is covered. The next part is what are the different types of an applications we can create using the blockchain. And the main popularity or the main advantage or the success of your blockchain application relies completely on your groundwork of it, whether a particular application needs a blockchain technology or not. Is it possible to develop this application even without using this technology or not? Knowing that importance is very, very important. That is what I have learned in one of the course which was on the design thinking for blockchain. So in design thinking of blockchain, they try to explain the various applications, whatever type of an application we had, we can put forward, and out of this which application needs a third party intervention. Whenever an application needs a third party's intervention, then that application can be successfully deployed as a blockchain application. Other applications are not worth doing it. Still we can do it, but it is not worth doing it. The third part is the stakeholders who are all the part of this to take up this blockchain technology. So then comes the last part of my session, the blockchain in academia. So where there are multiple startups which are working in blockchain, especially in academia domain. So there were so many other applications, but still I have picked the academia so that we will be able to relate it much comfortably and understand out of all these which application is an appropriate or the best we can use the blockchain. So transcripts, badges, learner record, identity, the infrastructure, the ride sharing, cloud storage, smart contracts, funding, the libraries, and the publishing. So in this particular different types of an application, I try to manage to get from the academia domain. Now, transcripts. So what are all these transcripts all about? So academic credentials must be universally recognized and verifiable. In K-12 and post-secondary, verifying academic credential remains largely a manual process. So distributed ledger technology solution could streamline verification procedure and reduce fraudulent claims of unearned educational credits. So most of us know this. We keep signing on the papers, the marks cards, the UHG marks cards, the PG marks cards. We keep getting this background verification. So now an organization wanted to give job to an employee. So employer, employee. Intermediate is a third party consultant who is doing the background verification for these people. A third party intervention is required here. So this kind of an application can be very well developed using blockchain, removing the third party intervention. As and when a degree is awarded to a student, it can be added to a blockchain environment and permission can be given to the person who wanted to check for the employability or any other purposes. So this type of an application can be very well done by a blockchain technology. So this is how it happens. A student, like a simple thing here, a university faculty, a student, and a third party. So the student record request transaction, and the student will be able to record the request initiation, and the student will also be able to view the student record block. As a university faculty, you can request their response. So what is the flow here is that the student wanted the university to the university to tell that this person is from this particular university only and this marks cards belong to this student only. So that is a record request initiation. So once the university receives the record initiation, this university faculty can give the response. So what kind of a response here is it? Like whatever record is being done, this university people can check, cross verify and say yes, this is right. Then the transaction is published to the blockchain. Now, as a third party, so the third party here can be an employer. An employer, instead of contacting the university and asking about the student, directly can log into this blockchain environment, view the student record and complete the work. This can even be the simpler one. Instead of the student initiating the request, this blockchain, this university themselves can add all their marks cards to the blockchain and give access to the people who wanted to do it via like some type of an authorization. So this is an registered body to know, or they should just get an student acknowledgement. Yes, I wanted to give the access of my record to this particular person to verify. So instead of a third party, here actually the third party is for this particular transaction is the university faculty. So university faculty is not going to get any benefit because of this. A student is an employee and the third party is an employer. Just the communication between these two people have to be done. So here the intervention is the university faculty. So instead of the university faculty every time intervening, as and when the student is getting passed out, one time if they approve, how many ever third party person who wants to do the background verification can log in and do. So this is one of the probable good applications for the blockchain. Then come badges. So specific skill assertion. I say that I rate myself 4.0 out of 5 in blockchain, and I rate this much in learning analytics. But how, who is going to grade me, on what basis going to grade me? Like, it is again based on the badges. Say in my university I'm the topper, so who is going to name you as a topper? So some authority have to name you. So wherever you wanted to bring, we keep seeing this in LinkedIn, we keep seeing this in MOOC platforms, like adding badges to our social media after completing the courses. So this can be one of the application. Say I'm telling that I have done a certification on Java from this particular I have done a particular certification. So now I have done a certification, I am telling someone has given me, whether it is an authorized certification or not can also be done. So that kind is called as a badges. So this is how and badges work. So a badge contract. So each badge is turned into a badge contract specifying the skills it represents. So automatically when a badge will be given to you is when you complete all these. So let's take a very, very simple example of, you have been admitted to a PG course based on few things. You should have an entrance exam. You should have done your UG. Let's take MCA course. You should have done your UG with max background. You should have done your SSLC and 12. If all these are there and the cutoff of your entrance exam is this, you can be appointed in this particular thing. So instead of counseling process, even this type of things can be done. So a batch can be allotted with an institute, with an university where that student want to study. So instead of an intervention in between body, we can run this through a smart contract also. Then Sony Global Education is already into the student record. So there is a difference between the transcripts and there is a difference between the student record. Student record here contains all the information. Say the learning style of the student, what is a mentor feedback about that student. So are they good in curricular, are they good in extracurricular, any type of this information can be put inside your blockchain. So student record is one of the way you get feedback from your educators in the sense, not just one educator, from your schooling till now. It may not be applicable to you or me who are already working for a long time. If this now generation, say from 6th grade onwards, if you start periodically in like assessment of the student can be done, how many internships they have done. So hardly we would have done couple of internships in our MCA, but now in the new educational policy, even at the student at school level are encouraged to do the internship. What are the different types of internship, how they have actually valued the worth of studying or attempting something, all these can also be recorded in the blockchain. All these are not just can be recorded, it is already been recorded by some of the startups. So whatever applications which I have mentioned here, some or other startup or a bigger organizations are already implementing blockchain for these purposes. So Sony Global Education is the one which has developed this educational platform in partnership with IBM that uses blockchain to secure and share student records. Say like how in medical, patient records can be saved and shared. Similar way here, student records are shared. Then comes identity. So identity, like who has actually learned, what they have learned. So platform like Blockstack and Uport uses this for identity. Whether a particular person has taken a course or on behalf of this person, someone else has taken up this course. Even that can be done when you have a complete online mode of your education. So this is how an identity issuer works. Then comes infrastructure. So all these what I'm mentioning here is with respect to an educational domain. Then comes the university. So infrastructure, what are all the different infrastructure in the school and the college premises? So a company called as SAG, so are using blockchain tamper-proof ledgers to sharing security data across device networks. So I like say one system is moved from one lab to the other lab. So when it has actually moved, when it was purchased, instead of us maintaining all the in the stock book, instead of maintaining everything in the stock book, if it can be maintained as a blockchain in a tamper-proof way, maintaining the infrastructure becomes much easier. So this may not be only applicable for university, but it can also be applicable like ride sharing, like carpooling or bike pooling is very, very popular now. So blockchain can also inject this new options into the ride share. So with a distributed ledger, drivers and riders could create a more user driven value oriented marketplace. So school districts could negotiate with a group of screened target cities drivers for hard to serve aspects of pupil transportation. So like I wanted to go, say traveling by a school bus is not going to be safe, you want a lesser crowd, so carpooling come into picture. Even ride sharing, the university which is not very closer to the city, where the transportation is not very easier, this kind of an application can be used. So cloud storage, so as learners and education institutions store more data, so the distributed ledger technology cloud storage could offer safer and potential cheaper alternatives for storing the data. This is already being done by Qcoin. So smart contracts funding. So DLT could facilitate distributed learning schemes. A state or institution could fund a student's account using blockchain-based smart contracts and provide all the funding upfronts. Say, what is mean by a smart contract funding is that like a student say is really doing very good, say some kind of a scholarship have to be awarded to the student. So based on what a scholarship can be awarded to the student, based on some of the points which is written in the smart contract, if all learners data are available in the blockchain, by automatically running the smart contracts, which person can be awarded for funding, which person can be given a full scholarship for the education. So based on the smart contracts, we can do that at the university level. So what is the benefit of that is it's cost effective, it is secure, we make sure that it is reachable to everyone, it is autonomous, it is accurate, and it is fast. So then comes libraries. So our libraries are working very efficiently even without using distributed ledger technology. But how it can help the libraries is expand their services by building an enhanced metadata archives, developing a protocol for supporting community-based collections, and for facilitating more effective management of digital rights. So for managing digital rights, it can be used, but otherwise issuing collection, it may not be a good application. Then comes a very important part, the last part of our session on publishing. So blockchain could have multiple applications in the publishing industry, from breaking into the industry to the rights management to piracy. Say we are all into research and we know the importance of the work which we are doing, the work which we are publishing. So authorship details can be efficiently managed using the blockchain technology by using publishing, but by using publishing applications which have been used by many startups. This may not be an only way, but how for a music ownership is given, how for some platforms are available for a specific type of a purpose. Same way, there are some industry which is also applying blockchain in the publishing era. So one of it is authorship tokens are issued, and then Ethereum based cryptocurrencies are also given. So how it is working is, like I publish a paper, I load my paper inside the blockchain environment. Anyone who is referring this particular data will be taking the data with the timestamp of when it is being taken, and then revenue is automatically going to the person whose work is being published. Say now I refer a paper, I understand something, I got an idea from that particular paper, but how that will be recognized is if I have ethics, I will add it to my references. But there are some possibility only the ideas are picked, but you are not recognizing the person who has sparked the light. So in order to ensure that the authors are getting full credentials of or the full rights of the niche things which they have come across, blockchain technology is also used in the publishing application. So in an ethereum based cryptocurrency, and writers gets 90% of their royalties in authorship tokens. So authorship tokens is that readers can purchase the books from this thing, like if they are viewing your data or doing that, automatically you are getting the fund. So this is again, your author will also be receiving money through various ways, but blockchain can also be efficiently used in this particular application, because then and there the money will get transferred, one thing, and the timestamp in which that particular paper has been referred, so that also can be that also, in fact, with respect to patents also, it can be in a world, in a two different location, the same idea would have been clicked for both the people without knowing each other, or without actually referring their ideas of each other, but still it is possible. So whenever we write patent, we come across, we would have had an idea, and immediately when we search, some or similar things would have already been there, but still without even having the history of those things, it is possible to have. But still, how an authorization can be given is that, how authorship can be given is that, based on the timestamp which it has been done. So in the publishing domain also, blockchain has 8 possible use cases in publishing: the paywall subscription models, use based payment systems, content distribution platforms, usage rights, decentralized publishing, book ICOs, scholarly journal collaboration, digital advertising for publishers. So these are all the various use cases which blockchain applications are used in publishing. Now, yeah, I'm done with my session. Just before winding it up, can I get some response, like out of the various applications which we have discussed in academia, which applications do you think blockchain is required and where blockchain may not be required? Before closing up the session, it would be really encouraging if you can give me some input, your input on this. So these are the different blockchain in academia. So some applications which I have discussed in blockchain in academia. So out of these various applications, where do you think blockchain is actually required, and where we think blockchain is not required? Or you can give your input for none of these blockchain is required. At least give me one response. Okay. Prasanna ma'am, I've done with my session. I'm open to take up any queries.
Thank you, Gomathi ma'am. Audience, any queries? Audience, any queries? You can even do it in the chat box.
Yeah,
Many of our participants had given answer through chat box.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks, Chitra ma'am
publishing,
and Varani sir.
learning record, like that.
Yeah, I'm viewing it. So can you please tell me, for what do you think it is required or not required? Required in publishing or not required in publishing? Yeah, Bharanidharan sir, it's correct. Like a learner record is required. So publishing, is it required or not required?
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Pavitra, already feedback link and attendance link are posted in the chat box. Participants kindly fill the attendance sheet as well as feedback, which is already posted in the chat box. Any other queries? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Your presentation and content is excellent, ma'am. The way you delivered the presentation is easy and understandable. So nowadays we are doing more digital transactions without knowing the techniques behind. Okay, so though we know Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything, but we don't know the technology behind that. Okay, so now it is clearly understood and we'll use the blockchain technology effectively. So in future, maybe blockchain technology will be useful in all fields, such as you already told, supply chain, medical, education, and in many other fields it play an important role in our society with more data security. That is also more important nowadays. Okay, ma'am. So then the way you explained the blockchain technology uses in academia, it's excellent, ma'am, and it is new to us. So in future, we will soon establish all this blockchain technology in our campus also.
Oh,
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
great.
It's Bharanidharan answered for your queries. Thanks a lot, ma'am. The blockchain technology for embedding more security. Regards. Okay, ma'am. So Bharanidharan, thank you.
Thank you for staying for the entire session.
Yeah, your
And thanks for the
presentation is good.
opportunity.
Thank you, madam.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you again. Okay, participants kindly fill the attendance as well as feedback immediately. So it is already posted in the chat box. Thank you, participants. Thank you.